up to that side. Okay, Simako, I can see Igangeses. That is very good. So we are going to start our lesson with an opening prayer. And if you're there and you can give us an opening prayer, you will be free to put up your hand so that you can give us an opening prayer. Just put up your hand, then you'll give us the opening prayer and the lesson will start. This is a Senior 3 mathematics lesson, and we have a number of items that we're going to look at, so we need really a lot of time. Thank you. Anyone giving us an opening prayer, just put up your hand and you give us that opening prayer. I see many people are coming from Igasco, Our Lady of Africa, Darin, and I see Raymond is also here. St. Henry's College, Kitovu. That is good. And yes, I'm waiting for someone to give us an opening prayer. Yes, we have Emmanuel from Baleses. At least I've seen someone from Baleses here. And I see Mengwe says, Sharon, you're most welcome. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me that side. Let's get an opening prayer here. Yes, Sharon, that is Mengwe says.
Humble yourselves and we pray. Dear Father, we thank you for this day and we thank you for the opportunity we are going to study. King of Majesty, we need your guidance. We need the Holy Spirit to come and teach us. As the teacher is teaching us, please you be the one teaching us. Help us understand and memorize whatever we are going to study. In Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Right, thank you so much, Sharon. And may we type amen in the chat to accept that prayer so we can continue. Thank you so much, Sharon, for that wonderful prayer. And for those who have been here with us, I'll maybe need to introduce myself once again for the newcomers. My name is over there on the screen, Masava Erisa. I teach mathematics and ICT at Mbale Secondary School. I also work with the Holistic Learning Platform, a platform that gives lessons to students online. So I'm very excited. We have most of the old students here. And I see a number of students who are joining us who are new. I pray that you fit into the system quickly so you can always come back. And if we had time, I would try to find out if we have some new students here, maybe by putting up their hand, but because of time, we may not do that. This afternoon, we are going to look at mathematics, and this is going to be in a revision format for those who have studied this topic already. And for those that have not studied the topic already, then it's going to be new to you, but we'll be moving a little bit slow so that we can grasp. Then at some point, the exercise is going to be given to you, and that exercise, you'll do it and submit it to the Padlet. The Padlet link is going to be shared in the chat. So your exercise will be put there for marking. And when we mark, we always bring back the marked scripts. So I'm going to start the lesson with about 2 guiding questions here. And these are familiar questions that you looked at in Senior 1 and probably Senior 2, where you are asked to find the values of the unknowns. And the first question can be just as simple as that, x plus 6 and it is equal to 17. Maybe you can try that on a piece of paper, then you can give me that answer. That is going to be a guiding question. Just type that answer in the chat and we see how you're trying out. I can see the first answer is already in the chat, and it would be good if you had given me your schools. I can see Spice is telling us 11. Someone is already telling us X is 11. TIM, we need to get your right name. You're telling us 11, and 11 seems to be taking the show. So I'll have no option but to say maybe 11 is the right answer. Yes, X plus 6, the answer is 11, is 17. So how do you get the value of X? People have already got, the answer is 11. So maybe no doubt. And we need to try to harden this then, if maybe that was very easy for everyone to get. And when I try to harden it, this is part B. Now, how do we get that answer for part B? We are interested in the value of the unknown, the value of the unknown. Now, the question given to you is 2y minus 3x is equal to 161. I am going to sit here and wait for the answers. I pray that you get this answer as well. Now, those who are still giving me the answer for part A, let's maybe give it some time. Someone has already, Christopher Kisa, I need to know your school. Someone has 82 already. Yes, people are already having 82, Raymond 82, Esther 82, Patience 82, Timothy 82. Let's not copy and paste it here. Igasco Spicy, that is good from Igangeses. 82 could be the right answer. And that is very good. Seems maybe this is very familiar to all of you. So, 82 from Balisis, Mafavi, I can see 82, but next time you write to us and you say y is equal to 82. So you realize it is easy for you to get that answer for part A, and for part B, it is very easy for you to get those answers. I have not seen so far anyone who is failing that. Now, we have this part number 2. Let's look at question number 2. You realize that for the first question, you were getting just the value of one unknown. And in number 2, the question is wanting us to get 2. The first value is for X and the other one is for Y. Now, the question is here. The question is here. It is easy. It was easier for you to give me the answers up there. I've just hidden that question because maybe someone would get scared. It was easier for us to get the answers up there. I have just the second question here. I have just hidden it, but I'm bringing it back. But this time around, it is going to involve you to get 2 values. We kindly close our microphones so that we can have a good lesson. Nina Olivia, the answer is 82 for Y, correct? Marissa, the Y is 82, still correct. But then we're about to get into our lesson, and the question given to us here needs you to get the value of 2 unknowns. Maybe I'll give you some time to see if you can get that. But if it is very hard, then let me know so we can maybe try it out together. The question is there. The first one, people were just getting, and by this time answers could have already come in the chat, but I seem not to be seeing. So let's try that and we see if we can get the answer. The question is find the values of X and Y following in the following equations. The first equation is 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. Then the second equation is 2x plus 3y. The answer is 8. I will assume people are trying it out, and I am sitting here waiting for the answers. The first question was easy for all of us. The second question seems to be making all of us run away, or you're doing it. I seem not to be understanding. People have gone.
So we are working out.
Ah, that is good. So when you get the answer, just put the answer in the chat so I can check and try to confirm. Take note, the first question, we only wanted one unknown. But in the second question, the question is calling for two unknowns, and maybe we already have someone with the answer in the chat probably. Anna Grace Cherop, Cherop is also here, and thank you. Cherop is telling us that the value of y is 2 and the value of x is 1. Then Anita is also confirming what Grace has told us. The value of y is 2 and the value of x is 1. Those are the only two answers. I had a gentleman talking in the background there. I'm wondering where you're hiding. I need you to confirm either these answers or you give us correct answers if these are not correct. Spicy Iganga says x is 1, y is 2. Then Meldred Angel, x is 1, y is 2, Igasco. Victor, x is 1, y is 2. Yes, answers are now coming in. Raymond has only got the first value and is telling us the value of x is 1. Benjamin Kigundu, and this is one of our old students here, has the answer as 2 and 1 still, and that is very good. So, I'm waiting. Yes, Izo, Tracy, Tabitha, Igasco, y is 2, x is 1. Wow, that is very good. Now, we have about 53 participants here, and if these are the only people who are trying to give me the answer, it seems something probably could be going wrong. Sharon is also telling us y is 2 and x is 1. Sharon is from Mengo Senior School, and Arthur is also telling us about the same. So, you realize that, yes, keep these answers coming in the chat. You realize that in this first question here, we only needed one unknown. But in these two, in this example number 2, we're interested in 2 unknowns. Now, this one brings us to what we are supposed to look at today. And we are going to concentrate in solving equations that involve 2 unknowns. And these equations, maybe for those who have ever looked at them, they are called what? Maybe by, you know, the name given to 2 equations and you want to solve them. By show of hands, I will just count. I see one person already. Shaddai, yes, Shaddai. I see 6 people know the equations. And I'm going to pick Shaddai to tell us. Shaddai, what are those equations?
They are simultaneous equations.
They are simultaneous equations, correct. Maybe Prissy, I need to find out. Do you have the same, Prissy? Prissy has one. Raymond?
Simultaneous equations.
Simultaneous equations. Shaddai, may you close your microphone?
Okay. She knows how to be friend.
Okay, Shaddai, close your microphone before I can close it from this side. This is bad. Let's close our microphones at all times. And I don't want to close everyone's microphone, and yet I can do that. Yes, Ranga, it's like maybe your hand is still up. May I know why? Maybe if you have something to say. Kaloli, yes? Kaloli, may you go on? Okay, Kaloli seems not to be speaking to us. I can see in the chat people are trying to write still. Yes, simultaneous equations, people had written in the chat. Sorry, I had not seen in the chat. Okay, these are called the simultaneous equations. And maybe before we get to what we are supposed to look at, simultaneous equations are always in 2 unknowns. And these 2 unknowns can be x and y, or sometimes it can be maybe a and b. It can be any values, any alphabetical letters, provided they are not the same. Now, for you to solve simultaneous equations, there are a number of methods you use. We are going to revise them for those who have already looked at this. And for those who have not looked at this, maybe it will seem to be new to some of you. Now, simultaneous equations, for those who have where to write, we are going to talk about them briefly here. And the revision topic that we are looking at today is going to be simultaneous equations. So for those who have where to write, you may put that down. And there is something to note whenever we talk about simultaneous equations. Equations with more than one unknown are called simultaneous equations. And there is this second bullet that is very, very important. They are called simultaneous equations because they are solved at the same time. This is a mathematical term that we use when we are talking about doing something at the same time. Maybe simultaneous equation, for those who have not heard of the term, it means solving, it means doing something at the same time. So that bullet number 2 is very important, and it's an English word, but it is so much in mathematics. Simultaneously, you can always talk to your friends in a conversation. You can talk about simultaneously, and maybe someone will know that you have studied simultaneous equations in mathematics. The last bullet here, which is very important, is that each of these equations on their own could give infinite possible answers. If I gave you only the first equation, you realize you will come up with several answers that would satisfy that equation. For example, if I wrote here, maybe 2x plus 3y, and the answer is maybe 12. A person would maybe 12. Okay, the answer is 10. Let me choose 10 here because I want to talk about something here. Now, if the answer is 10, a person would say x can be 2 and y can be 2. X can be 2 so that if x is 2, then this is 4, and this is y can also be 2 to make this 6, to make this 4, and the answer is 10. So I can take my value as x is 2 and y is also 2. To satisfy this equation, I'm trying to explain this last bullet. If you're to solve this question one on its own, then you get very many answers. Maybe someone should open his microphone to tell us other possible answers to this equation. If you're solving it alone, my answers, I can take 2 so that it can give me 10 here. Someone can mean it to say if x is 3, provided you get the answer as 10, it is what we are trying to talk about that. However, when we are solving it simultaneously, they must be only one answer. That's why we solve them simultaneously. Otherwise, if we leave everyone to solve one at a time, then we are going to get very many different answers if we give students a lot of time to try it out. So that last bullet is very, very important. You have to take note of that, especially for those who are writing something down. That is very important. So I'm going to move to the next slide. And now that we have known what simultaneous equations is, how do we solve them? How do we solve them? Maybe in the chat, someone can suggest for us some of the methods that we can use to solve simultaneous equations. Yes, Spice is already telling us that we can use matrix, we can use substitution, graphical, elimination, and she's confirming that she's coming from Igangeses, and that is very good. Patience is telling us you can use elimination method, and Kisa is telling us matrix still can help us, and Success Everin is also telling us elimination can be the other method you can use. Now, people are quiet, it means maybe some of them don't know. So we need to display some of these methods, and I'm going to talk about the first method. Simultaneous equations can be solved using the following methods. And the first method, like people are talking about in the chat, is called the elimination method. And we're going to see how you use it to solve simultaneous equations. The second one is called the substitution method. And the third one is graphical method. And lastly, everyone is mentioning it, and that is a matrix method. Maybe I need to check the chat and see if people had talked about matrix method. Graphical method, that is Ranga, Kaloli, Darlin If signs are the same, we subtract. Yeah, that is very good. I think that is what she recalls. And we are going to try to talk about this because it is a revision. So everything that you know about, let's talk about it. You can help your friends understand it more. And maybe those who don't know can completely learn a very new thing from you. So if you know something, make sure you drop it either in the chat or you put up the hand so you can be given a chance to say it. So in that order, that is how it's stipulated in the curriculum. You must learn how to use elimination method, and it has been arranged in order of simplicity. The first method is very simple. The second method is very simple as well, but not as simple as the first one. Then the order follows. Matrix is the easiest, but not as simple as the above method. So take note of that, and these are methods. So if we talk about any of these methods as the holistic learning platform, kindly appreciate. So when you get back to school, maybe another teacher can talk about the other one, another one can talk about, but if we manage to talk about all of them, then it will be very good for all of us here. Maybe someone should say something by putting up the hand, such that we are not very quiet. How is graphical method used? Raymond is asking the question. Sort of graph work. So questions are already coming in the chat, but we pray that we maybe talk about all of them. But if we don't get a chance to talk about all of them, then you can do personal revision. I saw one hand up, but she has already run away. Maybe, may you bring back that hand so that we can move together. Bring back the hand, that person who had put the hand up. Okay, the hand seems to have gone down. So I will have to choose the method. We are picking elimination method, and it's going to be the method that we are going to use here. And it is going to be the first method to talk about. And if time allows, we will talk about the other one. You have to plot a graph. Yeah, Patience is trying to help someone in the chat here. Patience, that is very good. I didn't know the three, but only matrix. Someone didn't know any other apart from matrix. That is very good. We are going to look at all of them, but in that order. Elimination method is the easiest, and elimination method is going to look like this. I'm going to take you back to the first equation, the first slide that had the guiding questions. This is one of the number two. Let's focus on number two. Let's put the focus on question number 2. That is an example of a simultaneous equation. And we are brainstorming on how to solve it. And we have talked about 4 methods. And someone is already telling us that for him, he knows how to use matrix method, but he doesn't know how to use the other thing. So this is the equation. This is the simultaneous equation. An example that maybe those who are taking screenshots, you can take that and keep it. And it is the one that we are going to look at. How do we solve that? We have listed methods already. So I'm going to go back to our methods. I'm going to get back to our methods. We had already talked about elimination. So I'm switching back to method. So how do we solve an equation using elimination method? The first step there is you have to multiply each. Now there is that noise. Maybe close your microphone. Okay. There is this step 1 that is very important. Step 1 is very important. Maybe someone should help us read it. Put up the hand if really you trust your network so that you can read for us. Kigundu, can you read it for us? That's step number 1.
Multiply each equation by a suitable number so that the 2 equations have the same leading coefficient. Correct.
You have to multiply. Now the people are still putting up the hand, kindly put them down. This is the equation. This is the equation that we're talking about. And the leading coefficients here, I'm trying to choose X. I'm choosing the X as our unknown. So the leading equations, the leading coefficients here is what? By show of hands, I'm taking my coefficient to be X. We need to understand that first step. The coefficient I'm taking, the unknown I'm taking is X. What are the leading coefficients? Yes, Rwanga.
The leading coefficient for X is 3.
Of course, you have to mention the two of them.
Hello?
Yes, it is 3 and what?
And 2.
Yes, 3 and 2. Equation 1, the leading coefficient is 3, and equation 2, the leading coefficient is 2. So basically, those are the equations that step 1 was talking about. So you have to make sure you get a value that is going to multiply these two values so that they are the same. The value that is going to multiply this equation here to make it the same as this one here. Instead of 3, instead of 2, we must get values that are going to help us make them the same. Maybe by show of hands, which values are those that we can use? Yes, I'll pick Raymond. Raymond has put the hand up for some time. Raymond, which values can I use here? So that when I multiply, the leading coefficients will be the same.
It is 3 and 2.
3 and 2. So 3 and 2, when I multiply 2 here, I'm going to choose a different color. When I multiply 2 up here, and I multiply 3 here, the leading coefficient is going to be 6, and it's going to be 6 up and down. So that is what that statement is meaning. 6 up and 6 down. So basically, that is what that point is talking about. Kindly take note of that. Get two values that are going to multiply up and down, and it must give you the same leading coefficients. And the shortcut here is that you just pick the same coefficients and interchange them. Pick the same coefficients, interchange them, and they will give you the same leading coefficients. I'm going to move out of here and get back to the previous, the other slide that we were looking at of elimination method as one of the methods that we are going to deploy so that we can solve these simultaneous equations. That is step 1. Someone should prepare to read for us step 2. Step 2 is here. Someone put up the hand so you can read it for us. Yes, Baris, hey, now that is a very hard name. Hirwa, I don't know how you pronounce it. Maybe you will start by pronouncing the name. Hirabaris. Hey. Okay, if you're not maybe there, you will have help us pronounce the name.
Subtract the second equation from the first.
How do you pronounce your name?
It's Hirabaris.
Hirabaris. Okay, that is good. Subtract the first equation. What does that mean probably before you close your microphone?
To subtract the first equation from the second one. Sorry. To subtract the second equation from the first one. To get this, 3 times 2x plus 3y is equal to 8 minus 2 times 3x plus y. Like that.
Okay, I get that. After making the leading coefficients the same, then just subtract. The intention is to kill those values. The intention is to have those values die, period. Because it is going to be 6x, then 6x down also. Just subtract them such that this is 0, this is 0. Such that you would have killed one unknown. We are talking about simultaneous equations. For you to solve them, use the elimination method, and the elimination method is going to help you to eliminate the first unknown. How do you eliminate the unknown? Make it to be the same. Any number, same values, when you're subtracting them, the answer is always 0. That's why we subtract to kill that first unknown so that we can remain with the second unknown and we can solve that easily. Make it the same. That is step number 1. Subtract, and when you subtract, it will always give you 0. That unknown would have died. Okay, I'm going to get to the third step here. Someone should maybe read for us that as I try to check in the chat. Elimination method is known. Adjacent. Yes, there is a conversation continuing in the chat here. I pray that it continues such that you help someone, help a brother, help a sister to understand. Smile, can you read for us that and probably explain? I saw an hand from Smile.
I saw Smile.
Smile, Marilyn.
Solve this new equation for y.
And what could that be meaning? Okay, you have to solve the new equation for y because
the equation you get.
Yes, because you would have killed the first value, so you can always solve the next equation for y. And lastly, you substitute y into after getting the value of y, you then substitute the value that you have got for y into the first equation or the second equation, and it will always help you to solve for the value of x. So we're going to look at the first example because of time, and the example is the same example that I've been using in the guiding questions up there, and it is here. So because I have already prepared this in the slide, I'm going to go through it quietly here, such that you are going to try out the next examples, and if possible, you'll put them in the chat. Now, the question given to us here is in the screen here, and I'm going to give you the solution here so you can try to solve the next examples. And this equation here, always, maybe I'll need to remove that. You have to make the leading coefficients the same, and we are going to multiply it by 2 up and by 3 down. So that is what I'm doing here, 2 up, 3 down, such that this is 6, this one is also 6, and when I subtract, it gives me 0. However, you don't only do that to this. You have to multiply for here, you have to multiply for here as well, so that it is a very good one. I just saw an up, but it has gone down. Okay. So I am going to multiply that, and it is already in the slide, so you may not participate so much as such, but in the next example, you're going to try it out. Now, when you multiply 2 throughout this equation 1, maybe someone should help us put up the hand so you can help us multiply. It will be 2 times 3 to get what? Then when you multiply it by 4 up to 11 here, so we can write it down here. Yes. Ranga?
Yes.
Ranga, may you go on?
When you in the first equation, when you multiply 3 times to get 6x.
Yes.
I get yes.
6 then by
plus 2 times 4y you get.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, then the last one.
When you multiply 2 times 11, you get 22.
Okay. So basically that is what we are going to get here. And Ranga is telling us when we multiply, we get that. And maybe we may not give him chance to mention the next one, but that is exactly what we do. And when you multiply 3 now to the next one, you start this. Now, take note of this. This is who? Take note of that. The equations, the coefficients are now the same. The coefficients are now the same, so you can now subtract at that point, and you can always get the first coefficient, the first unknown eliminated. So you can only remain with the second unknown, and getting now the value of y becomes easy. And when you get the value of y, you can already substitute it in equations, in one of these equations, and you can get the value of x. So in the end, you would have got the 2 values for x and y. I have just noticed we've also got in our class, we have another teacher, Beckham Trinayo. Is this a teacher, or I need to find out maybe a word or two? Beckham, you may have to open your microphone and talk to us.
I'm a student.
Ah, this is a student. Okay, I was expecting another teacher, so I thought probably the teacher has landed. Okay, Beckham, what you'll be doing, you'll let me read for me in the chat. If there is any serious thing, you let me know, such that we can concentrate there. But for now, I may not check in the chat unless if there is some serious thing. Hope we are together, Beckham. Okay, check in the chat and let me know. Now, these coefficients are the same, so I'm going to subtract, and when you subtract, you'll get, of course, it will be 0 here. I'm going to rewrite this on, I will have to annotate this for someone to understand. When you subtract, it will be 0, and 8y minus 9 is going to be minus y, and 22 minus 24, the answer is going to be minus 2. And when you divide through by a negative, the answer becomes 2. So you get this y value and substitute it either in this equation or this equation. And I'm going to choose equation 2, this one here, such that I put the value of y and it's going to help me get the value of x. So it will be 2x plus 3y. The answer is 8. And I'm going to substitute the value of y, which is 2, in this equation. And this is going to be 2x plus 6. The answer is 8. So if that is 8, I'm going to then solve it like in the other guiding questions that I had put on the black or on my first slide. It is one unknown. How do you solve? It will be 8 minus 6. And this is going to be 8 minus 6 is what? 8 minus 6. The answer is, hey, do we have people there? Do you need a calculator here? 8 minus 6? 2. Hey, someone has mentioned 2 at least. That is 2. Yes, and the answer finally becomes 1. So the value of x is going to be 1, and the value of y is going to be 2. Something like that. So this is precisely what people were getting in the beginning. They were telling us the answer is 2, the answer is 1, and probably someone was wondering where the answers were coming from. So basically that is it. Is there anything in the chat that I can concentrate on, Beckham, as people prepare to put up their hand to ask any questions? Because I'm going to put examples here so you can try it out. Make sure you've understood this. If you've not understood any of this, let me know by putting up the hand or writing something in the chat such that Beckham can read it for me. Any hand up? Anything in the chat? Yeah, I don't see any hand up. So when you subtract, your answers are going to be x is going to be 2 and y is going to be 2 and x is going to be 1. So basically that is it. Let me know by putting up the hand if you need me to talk about something here to clarify on it. Yes, that is Kigundu. Benjamin, may you go on?
Yeah. I was asking,
yes,
is it okay after we have, let's say we have finished multiplying and we have finished subtracting and we have found the value of x, is it okay if we're getting the value of y just to get any equation, either the first or second, and we just substitute in the value of x and we just get the y just by substituting it in?
Yeah, it is very okay, provided you use any of the equations. You can choose the first one, you can choose the second one. But the trick here, Ichigund, is the trick is you use an equation that is not very abstract. I just looked at that first equation. It had 11, I feared, and there was that 8 down, and it looked easier for me to get the value. So don't look at an equation and it is complicated and you go there. Use the equation that is a bit easier for you. Did I try to respond, Kigun?
Yes, teacher. Thank you.
So that is the trick. Don't pick any equation. Just look at the equation, understand it, then you can use it to get the other value. All right, so that is very good. If someone does not put up the hand here, then it means we have to proceed. Yeah? All right, thank you. Thank you for those who have tried to participate here and what is in the chat here. I'm going to display questions here. Okay, Now, I'm going to display questions here such that you can try them, and we're going to mark them together here. I have the answers already. So you're going to try them out and you give me the answers so we can compare and see. The first hint here is that look for the unknown that you want to eliminate, make the coefficient the same, and just subtract to deal away with them. That is the trick. If you master that, then you're not going to have any problem. So you're going to find the values of y and x in the following equations. Can you get a piece of paper or a book for those who had come with the books and try to get this? So you choose whether to eliminate x here or to eliminate y. And if you're eliminating x, make sure the leading coefficients are the same, subtract and get the answers. The second equation here is that, then the third equation is that. So we're going to try up to the fourth one if time allows. Then the fourth one is a bit complicated, and from number 1, from number 2, 3, 4, that is the level of complicity. Number 1 is going to be a little bit familiar when you try the second one, like that. I will be interested in the first one. So I'm going to, for purposes of maybe moving together, I'm going to cover the third, and I pray that this covers. This one has refused to cover. Hope no one takes a screenshot before I cover. I've covered it. I'm going to cover this so we can concentrate on the first one. So the first one is there. I'm going to be interested in the answers. If you can put them in the chat, it will be good enough. Or if you can mention it by opening your microphone, and that will be putting up the hand. So I will assume silence means people are trying out.
Yes.
Okay. But now that means for you talking, does that mean you're not trying out? Okay, so yes, answers are already coming up, and the Edith, Tracy, Nabzari, that name sounds familiar. Hope you're from Bali here. And we have Ranga. I will not mention the answers. Maybe it may scare someone who is trying out. Ranga is also having answers here in the chat. Patience has answers here in the chat. And Angel Mildred already has the value of y. Mildred, we are waiting for the value of x. K. Now K does not put a full name here. Wait when we start pushing you to the waiting room. K has 2 answers. Y is 1 and X is 2. And Marissa is also having already 2 answers. I mean, only 1 answer. And the first answer, which is Y being 1. Akopan. Akopan is a Japanese name here, or Russian, if I'm not mistaken. Akopan already has value of Y as 1 and X is 2. We will confirm that. And Trevor also has an answer here. Marissa has brought the second answer. Then Mafavi Emmanuel, this one is Marises, and has Y as 1 and X as 2. That is very interesting. Patience Sayun, Patience, you're most welcome. Sayun, X is 2, Y is 1. So Raymond has 1 and 2. Okay, answers are rotating around 1 and 2. I'm going to unveil my answer here because this is in form of revision. I'm unveiling my answer, and my answers are over there. X is 2 and Y is 1. For those who have tried it and you have passed it, congratulations. I don't know how many passed by show of hands. By show of hands, if you got that as your answers. Only 1 passed. 4, 5 people got the answer as right. 7, 8. Yes, that is good. That is good if your answer, 13 people got the answer right. That is very interesting. So I'm going to put the first example off so we can concentrate now on example number 2. And I'm going to remove this such that I can now cover. Make sure you don't take any of the screenshots too. That is the first one I've covered, and I'm covering this. We are concentrating on number 2. Number 2, because of time. Number 2, try it out and let me know of the possible answers. Number 2, Cephas has also got the value of y as negative as 1 and x as 2. Guys, how do you do it? I'm confused. Trace is confused here. Trace is confused. Tracy is confused. Tracy, may you open your microphone and talk to me? I need to know where you're getting lost from. Tracy, may you open your microphone?
Sir, what?
Tracy, I need to know where you're getting lost from.
I'm lost from, okay, this part where they are subtracting. When after you multiplying the numbers, then that part.
Okay, that part when they're subtracting. Yes, I've taken note of that. I'm going to respond. Marissa, may you put up your concern if it's a concern anyway. Marissa, your microphone, your hand is up. May I know why? Marissa, may I know why, or we go to
Marissa, why or go?
Okay, Marissa seems not to be ready. Tracy, may you go on?
So are we after going to do corrections with these things? Because I'm not really understanding.
Okay, we are going to do the first one and the second one.
Okay.
Then the third one will be pushed to exercise because of time. Okay, Ruanga, what was the concern?
I've finished the answers.
I need to get them in the chat here. Have you put in the chat? That is good. People are already putting in the chat. X is 2 and y is -1. People are already having that as their answers. Yes, probably that could be right. Now, people are saying we need to try it out. I'm going to display my answers so you can congratulate yourself. So X value is 2 and Y is -1. For those who have that, congratulations. And for those who are about to get there, still you can continue. So I'm going to try to do number 1 and number 2. Then the remaining 2 will be pushed to exercise because of time. So allow me
to enjoy myself.
These are the questions, and I'm going to take back my answers. And I will not display the last answers. I'm taking back those answers, and I'm going to concentrate on the first one. We are going to solve that first one together, and we had our friends who are here and they are stuck, they don't know what to do. Now, I'm going to annotate because I didn't prepare that in my slide. So what you do, you get the equations, you rewrite the equations afresh. Then 3x plus 2y is equals 8. Now, what you do here at this step, you draw these lines, and these lines are very important. I'm talking to Tracy and some other people who are stuck, you don't know what to do completely. Now, you have to draw those two lines so that they can help you to make the leading coefficients the same. The leading coefficients here, I'm choosing X. I can mean to choose Y. So I'm going to choose X as my leading coefficient, as my leading unknown, and the coefficients there, therefore, is 2 and 3. And when you look there, they are not the same. We have 2 here and we have 3 here. And yet I need to make them the same such that when I can subtract, they give me 0 and I remain with only one unknown. So I'm going to be forced to multiply by 3 up and by 2 down. You just copy these coefficients and interchange. This 3 comes up and this 2 comes down. Now, I want to make them the same. So this one is going to be 6. When you multiply, it will be 6x minus 3y is going to be the same as 9. I've just multiplied through by this. It means I have not changed anything. I'm going to multiply the second equation also by 2. So this is going to be 6x plus 4y. And the answer is going to be 16. Now 16 means I have multiplied 8 by 2. I'm not interested in any other thing apart from the first unknown, which is x, and I must make the leading coefficients the same. So because they are the same, I can subtract them so they can cancel out. When I subtract now, someone was interested in what do I do when I'm subtracting. When you're subtracting, you get this value and you subtract this. So it will be 6x minus 6x. And 6x minus 6x means you get 0. You get 0. And I am going to get minus 3y, then I subtract 4y. I'm going to write here, minus 3y, subtract 4y. The answer becomes what here? Just open the microphone and mention it. Minus 3y minus 4y. The answer is what?
Negative 7.
Negative 7.
Okay, negative 7. I've had negative 7y. You must put that y. It's going to be the same as 9 minus 16. The answer is negative what?
Negative 7.
Negative?
Negative 7.
Okay, negative 7.
Negative 7.
Okay, so when you divide through, when yes, this is going to be minus y minus, minus y is equal to negative 7. Minus 7y is going to be the same as negative 7. And you can divide through here by negative 7 because I want to get the value of y. Negative 7 and the value of y becomes, when you divide negative 7 by negative 7, the answer is what?
1.
1.
That is 1, correct. And because I have my value as y is equal to 1, you then look at these equations, which one is easier for you to get the value of x without getting the calculator. I would quickly choose, okay, for you would choose which?
First one.
The first one, correct. So I will put my 2x here minus y is going to be the same as 3. And the same as 3 means I'll put my y value here. So it's going to be 2x minus 1. Where there is y, I'm putting 1. It's going to be the same as 3. So getting the value of x is going to be easy. I have to take this minus 1 this other side to give it 4. So this becomes 2. X is going to be the same as 4. And right through by 2, your x value becomes what?
2.
2. It's very important for you to conclude by saying therefore the value of x is 2, comma, the value of y is 1. That is very important. 2 participants are putting up their hand. And Success Everin, may you go on because Marissa's microphone seems to be having.
Okay, sir. I wanted to ask you that.
Hmm.
I thought it is also possible when we use these equations we've got after multiplying. I thought we use those methods to get the values.
I have not picked that very well, Success. If you can kindly go again, if you can ask it again. You thought multiply?
Yeah, these multiplying equations. Okay, the equations we got after multiplying.
Yes.
I thought we can also use them to get the values of X and Y.
Hey, yes, you can put it there, but now, Success, I told you, you look at how to survive without using a calculator. But now, when you multiply, they become a bit bigger. Do you get it?
Yes.
But if you can manage to manipulate them, you see, we don't want you to miss the point at the very last point. So if you can manage to go through the ones that we've multiplied, it's very okay, but we don't want you to fail. That's why we always go back to the original questions because for them they're a bit direct. Is that taken? Is that taken? Okay, Marissa, your hand is still up. May you say something before I can proceed?
We got that fine for me.
Marissa must have forgotten the hand up. Okay, I'm going to someone was saying has not understood. Probably that tries to answer because we have a lot to go through. Remember, we may not have a lot of time. So I want to end here on this example. I don't want to do the second example. And I'm going to display it here such that you can see it and you suggest if we can really do it or we can proceed. This was the second example and people had tried it out. Do we do it or we can proceed? Because we need to look at some other thing here. Maybe by show of hands, if we are to proceed, can we proceed? If that one is a little bit familiar, so we can proceed by show of hands. Yes, one person is saying we can proceed. I think that one is a little bit easier. Mildred. Yes, 4 people.
Let's proceed.
If we can get 12 people saying we can proceed, then I think we have to proceed.
Let's proceed.
There are already 8 people who are saying we can look at the next thing. There are 8, there are 9. Yes, we already have 10 hands up. So those who have not got this, let me know kindly in my inbox and we can try it out. However, I encourage you to take the screenshot of these questions so you can try them out. When you try them out, you can let me know and I can go through to find out if you try to write correct answers. However, I'm also displaying the answers for each question such that you can compare with the answers you're going to get. I think that one helps. So take a screenshot of that, sit down, do them, compare the answers with what has been highlighted as the right answers. Let me know if I need to look at them. If you realize you have understood, then you can go silent and we can always look at the next thing. Now, there are some abstract questions. Now, this is UNEB format. In most cases, in mocks, you can get such questions. These are also simultaneous equations. How do you solve them if they are looking like this? The trick here is you get the LCM. Get the LCM, because now this one is looking abstract. You look for LCM, so when you get the LCM, you'll deal away with the denominators. And when you deal away with the denominators, the equations look so familiar. For example, the first one, I'm going to pick that one, and it is x over 2 plus y. I will assume that is my y over 3 is equal to 5. And then x over 3. Those who are already preparing to who are already preparing, trying to look at UNEB question papers, looking at mock papers, you realize these are familiar questions in most mock examinations. How do we solve them? These are also simultaneous equations. Reason, they have two unknowns. You have to solve them together simultaneously. I encourage you to always use simultaneous, to use the elimination method here because it's a little bit easier and direct. So I'm going to look at my first equation, this one here. What is the LCM there that I can use to deal away with the denominator? Just open the microphone.
6.
Yes, 6, correct.
6.
Yes, that is enough. 6. Ah, it's enough. So I'm going to, this is x over 2 plus y over 3 is equals 5. I'm going to multiply through by 6, like someone has suggested, such that I deal away with the denominator because it's making my equation not look good. By 6, I multiply here by 6. I also multiply this other side by 6, like that. And this one now reduces my denominator from 2 to 1. It reduces my denominator from 2 to 1. And when you divide 6 by 2, the answer is 3. This LCM also reduces my denominator from 3 to 1 and gives me 2 up here. When you multiply this, the answer is what? 5 times 6 is what?
30.
30, correct. So this becomes 3x plus 2y is going to be the same as 30. And this becomes my equation number 1. I just write equation number 1 in bracket like that. You realize this is now a good equation than when it is up here. I'm going to look at the second equation. What is going to be the LCM?
12.
Correct.
12.
Yes, 12 is going to be our LCM. I'm going to request that I write it here. So it is going to be x over 3 plus y over 4 is going to be the same as 1. And when I multiply through by my LCM, which is 12, it will be 12 here. It will be 12 here. So you realize 12 is going to be a very good reducing agent for my denominator. It will reduce this 3 from 3 to 1. Then it will give me up here what? This is 4. 4. It will reduce this denominator from 4 to 1, and it will give me up here 3, and it will give me to this side. So my equation now, my second equation becomes 4x plus 3y is going to be the same as 2. And this is going to be equation number 2. Okay, are we together at that point such that we can proceed?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay, that is very good if maybe we are okay at that point. So these equations, I want to leave them here such that you can try them and get the answers. Because what I wanted to show you is how do you arrive at them. Solving them, we have already looked at that. Now, the second question is 5. You realize that the LCM now is in X and Y. There are no 12s, there are no 6s. Do you now leave it or what do you So maybe take that screenshot, and the person who is going to try out, this is not 2, this is 12, eh? This is 12. Sorry, that is 12, and this is 12. Make that correction. The LCM is 12, so this is supposed to be 1 times 12 to give you 12 here. And when you solve these equations, your answer for X, I'm going to write this in black. The answer for X, or anyone who has tried it out can tell us the answer for X. The answer for X is going to be minus 22. Yes, Prissy, what is the value of Y? Prissy, I thought you had tried it out. Okay, Prissy's hand is down. Okay, the value of X is going to be negative 22, and the value of Y is going to be 48. The value of A is going to be 48. And basically, those are the answers. Try them out, and it will be not very hard for you. I want to put that off so I can try to make a demonstration on the second one, because you may get such a question and you're maybe disturbed, you don't know what to do. I want to talk about the second one. Don't mind of the numbering. Okay, I want to clean this annotation. If you've not taken a screenshot, take. If you've not written, may you do that quickly. I want to clean it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to clean this annotation. We are going to try out this second one, and maybe someone should help us tell us what will be the LCM in the first one. Yes, but now Ranga's hand is up for some time. Eh? At least not Ranga, who else? Someone should put up the hand. Eh? Ranga has tried to put up the hand. He has really 2 participants. Who else? Eh? Yes, I can see Everini's hand. At least not Everin. Everin has also participated from the beginning. That is any other person? Is equals to. What is going to be the LCM for this equation here? Because it is that LCM that is going to help us reduce this denominator. Now the denominators are X and Y. How do we reduce them to 1, 1? Is the purpose of us.
LCM is XY.
This is per assist. XY. Was that what you said? Was that what you said? Okay. The LCM is XY. Maybe for confirmation. Success, may you confirm if that is the LCM?
Yes, sir. I think we are going to use the LCM as XY.
Okay. XY, correct. So you multiply through by XY. So you multiply by XY everywhere. I'm not going to use that X because it will appear. I'm not using a multiplication sign. I'm going to use a dot because the multiplication sign will look like X. So even here, I'm going to multiply through by XY. Even here, I'm going to multiply through by Y like that. So this LCM is going to be so good, be helpful to me because it is reducing my denominator from X to 1 because this X will cancel out with that. And it's also reducing my denominator of Y to 1 because that Y is going to cancel out with that Y up there to give me 1, to give me 1 here. So my now new equation becomes 5y minus 2x is going to be the same as 2xy. Correct. Then in the second one, I'm also going to use xy, and I'm not going to rewrite that. Xy here, xy. So that will be 2x, 2y it will be 2y plus what? Someone should open the microphone.
Plus 3x.
Yes, plus 3x. The answer is going to be
16xy.
16 what?
xy.
XY. 16xy.
Yes. So I needed to make the leading coefficients the same. Now it is looking very, very clear to me. I don't know whether it's looking easy now for you also. But now what is unique is now xy. How do you deal away with it? Maybe that could be another person is worried, but maybe that what you need to do, you must make sure you eliminate x and y. So what I'm going to do here is I'm forced to do this. I'm going to be forced to eliminate y because I want to move faster. I'm going to put 2 here. I'm going to put 5 down. This will be 10. Someone should open and move together. 10, then this is what?
Minus x.
So it's
Is equals?
it's
Y.
Okay, then the second one is going to be?
10y
Yes, correct.
Plus
15x.
Plus 18.
15.
15.
Yes, 15 is correct. I mentioned 18. Is equals what? Now math is there. If you don't know math, don't mention anything there. 5 times
80xy.
80xy.
correct. But you're using calculators after all.
No.
How do you multiply that first? Okay. So
brains.
Which brains? Now who has left the brain? Oh, everyone. We are going to subtract at that point. Reason why am I subtracting? The coefficients are the same. Now there are some people who don't know how to get there. Make sure you make the coefficients the same. Whether they are negative, whether they are positive, make sure they are the same, such that you can subtract and deal away with them. I'm going to subtract. So when you subtract, it will be 0 here. Now someone with mathematics should also help us.
19x minus 19x.
Yes, minus 19x. Now this is even a girl. Wonder where the boys are now. 19x. And this is going to be, what is the value here?
Negative 76xy.
Negative 76.
6xy.
X. Y, correct. Now, at that point, because I'm teaching, I'm not giving you a chance to try it out because I want you to really get that concept. It looks a little abstract. At that point, can you look for the common factor? Deal it away with. And I have to eliminate x there. I'm going to divide through by x to kill it out. So when you divide through by x, this x cancels out. I don't want to do that because I will assume it is familiar. This x will cancel out if I divide through by x. So I'm going to remain with minus 19, giving me negative 76y, like that. So
1 out of 4.
yes, 1 out of 4, correct. I wonder where the boys are now. You divide through by 19, and the answer is going to be out of 4. Then x is going to be what? X is going to be what? Now what you do, get that.
-2.
Going to be what?
-2.
-2? Someone should help us confirm -2. Or else I'm going to be forced to try it out. So you get the value of y. Someone should confirm for us that value. Substitute y in any of these equations. These ones here. You can, or you can put here. People are writing in the chat, or
X is equal to 1 out of.
is it?
It's equals to 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
2.
X is a half.
Okay. That is it. So you can see how those equations are also simultaneous equations. And
Thank you.
let's put that down before we can look at probably the next slide. By show of hands, may you let me know where I can maybe repeat again, because this is a very serious thing. It is so serious. If you didn't pick anything here, let me know. Faith? Faith, may you go on?
Okay, so I beg your pardon from Romans 7.
But now they are.
Someone network was disturbing.
Yeah, really, we may not have time. Benjamin, are you still there? Benkham, rather. Benkham.
Yeah, I'm there.
When you check the timetable, what is the next lesson?
This one.
Let me see.
Someone should pick the timetable and let me know.
Just share
next lesson.
Person, keep checking and telling him the questions.
As you're looking for the next lesson, let me know what Kisache has. Mary, Kisache. Kisache, what was that question?
How did you get the half?
How did I get their half? It is actually not me who got, but your friends got it. You just substitute the value of y. But do you know how you got the value of y?
Yeah.
Then get the value of y and substitute in one of these equations. Then you do it patiently. You'll get the value as a half. Is that okay, Kisache? Success?
Sir, but if you write your answer in decimals.
It is very okay. Success, it is okay, but you don't round them off. Understood?
Okay, sir.
Benham, I'm waiting from you.
We have math up to 4.
Yeah, up to 4. It's okay. Up to 4, then it's okay. So someone had requested that we try to repeat this, but I would suggest that we try it out. However, let me talk briefly about it. Because everything here. Now, this number 2, I'm assuming this is number 2. Don't look at the numbering up there. I'm talking about this question here. Treat it as number 2. And we have to get the LCM. LCM is a value that is going to reduce our denominators to 1. It is called the LCM. Provided it reduces your denominators to 1, is the LCM. And the trick there is, how do you get it? If you cannot manage to get it, then you multiply. Just multiply the denominators. The trick here is 2 times 3 to get 6. It will be the LCM. So here we also got our LCM as XY, because when you multiply, it gives you XY. So you have to multiply that LCM throughout. You have to multiply that LCM throughout. So I'm going to, okay. So I'm going to multiply through out by my LCM, which is XY. So I said I multiply through by XY, and I'm not going to use the multiplication sign just because it will look like X. I didn't want to have that, so I used the dot, which is okay. So this is XY. XY. So this will have to divide. It is going to help me reduce my denominator from X to 1. This one will have to cancel out with that. Then this one will also help me to reduce my denominator to 1. And it will also cancel out with this to give me 1. Now, I don't know who asked that had not understood this. I don't know if you're still on. That was who? Mary? Was that Mary?
Yes, sir.
Okay, are we together at that point?
Yes, sir. Yes, teacher.
Okay, so I have just reduced my denominator to 1, 1, and it's now looking very, very comfortable. It's now looking very familiar because I've dealt away with the denominator. So this now becomes 5y minus 2x. This is going to be 2x. That is my first equation. Equation number 1. When I call that equation number 1, it means I would have made that equation a simultaneous equation. Should close that microphone. Okay, take note of this. These simultaneous equations work with unknowns, but then the order does not matter. Provided it's starting with X, take it as X. If it's starting with Y, take it as Y. Don't struggle to change them. Provided what is up is down. It is starting with 5Y, it is having 2X here. So don't struggle that now our simultaneous equation should start with X. No, provided 5Y is up and also down there is Y. You can take it as Y. Y can be number 1. But avoid taking it when they are not the same. Let the first one not be Y up and it is X down and you're comfortable with it, you would have missed it. And most examiners, when they are setting questions, they always interchange them to check if you can see well and notice that they have interchanged the unknowns. So our particular equation here is starting with 5y, so don't struggle to change. We need to confirm down if it is also using y, then we shall just take it like that. So this is 2x plus 3y over y is equal to 16. And we've agreed that our simultaneous equation is going to be multiplied by the LCM, which is xy. Multiply this xy, multiply this with xy also. Then obviously whenever you multiply through by the LCM, the denominator is reduced to 1. Even here, the denominator will be reduced to 1, and this becomes 1, this becomes 1, and our very
2y
it will be 2y, yes, that is good.
plus 3x
Yes.
is equals to 16xy.
And this is going to be equation what?
2.
Right. 2, like that. Now, Mary Kisachi, this is what you must have wanted. I've just repeated that for you. Is that now familiar, or you need something more than this?
No, sir.
You okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone who has a fear about simultaneous equations, especially when you're using elimination method, let me know, because that is what I wanted to talk about today. Before I get to the next method, we can talk about if you have something that has always been scaring you when you're using elimination method, let me know by putting up the hand and you can say something. And I'm going to get to the next, because now this one shows people must have picked how to simplify something when it has the LCM, the denominator that is not familiar. And I'm also going to leave some 2 examples here that are a bit stubborn, so you can try them out and also let me know by some answers. Now those questions are here. And before I bring the questions, let me know if you have any problem here, because you're going to use this knowledge to apply the other side. I think there is no problem. There is no problem at that point. What if you write in decimals? I think this is an old question. Wait, I thought Bishop Champlain. No, this conversation in the chat here may scare me again. Can we give an X? The question is, can we be given X as a denominator and Y as a numerator in a fraction dealing with simultaneous equations? Now, Anna Grace, you need to open books so that you get such examples. I know they are there, but always the person who sets them that way knows that you can use the LCM and get there. It is possible. They can give you. And okay, probably that was the only serious question I would pick in the chat here. Unless if someone had put something in the chat and I've not read, just open the microphone and tell it to me. Teacher, I haven't understood in how to get the simultaneous equations. If you've not understood, if I've not responded to your question in the chat, because of the chat is a bit flooded, let me know by opening the microphone. Yes.
Teacher. Number that's the last number. How did you get the XY? Like multiplying all the side by XY.
That is the LCM. How do you get the LCM there?
You multiply the denominators.
Yes, the denominators are X and Y. That's why you have XY. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. So There are 3 hands here. Anita, may you go on?
Sir, what if they are squared?
What if they are square?
Like x is square. Yeah.
Then that might be not a simultaneous equation, but you're going to learn these equations same. That could be a quadratic equation or a polynomial. But in case you can manage to solve it, then you can use this knowledge and it helps you. But in most cases, when it is squared, it is going to require knowledge of quadratics. Francis? Okay, Benham, you can go on.
Okay, teacher, like when we are solving this here, the second equation, somewhere we got after getting negative 4x plus 15x, then got negative 19x is equal to negative with x is equal to 4y. So how do you substitute?
Where is the now I had removed this. I really don't know if I'll get it easily. Let me try to get as many steps back as possible. I see if I can get back to what you had said. Is it somewhere here?
Yeah.
You're saying, how do you get the value of x is the question? Eh? So I'm going to try to put it here. Because we have our y value as 1/4. That is our y value. We want to get the x value, and I'm going to use the second equation. The second equation is 2y plus 3x is equal to 16xy. But I know my y is 1/4, so I'm going to put 1/4 everywhere. One over 4 is there. So this is going to be a half. Hey, now the class is quiet. I don't know whether you're hearing what I'm doing here. Are we together?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, sir.
Better speak something so I cannot get worried.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 16/4 is what?
64.
4x.
4x. Yes. I'll take this 3x this other side. And it's going to be 4 minus 3 to give me what?
X.
And that is the answer. I don't know whether that was the question, Benham.
Okay. My question was, how do you get now? Like that's why you got it as 1/4. Okay, for me, I got stuck where I got x as equal to 4y. Then from there.
You got stuck. So I'm going to try to do it here and see if I can. Sorry, I picked the wrong shape. How do you get the value of y as 1/4? Probably I can also talk about that. At this step here, I will assume you've understood up to this step. It is where we got, at that step, it's where we got the value of y. So the step was minus 90. It's going to give us negative 70 y. We're interested in getting the value of y. Do we divide it through by 19 or we divide it through by 76? We're interested in the value of y.
Through by negative 76.
Yes, negative 76. Correct. So I'll divide through by negative 70. I will divide through by negative 76. And this will always reduce to 1, 1, 1. And this will reduce to 4.
4.
Yes. So that is where the answer came from as 1 over 4 is the same as y. So you can always write it. Now, because of time, I may not talk so much about that, but that is where we go to that. And when you get that 1 over 4, you then fix it in one of the equations and you can always get the value of x. I seem to have answered that, Baker. You must have got lost somewhere, but then that would have been the right approach. Okay, I don't see any other hand. Benham, I think network is not good. Eh? So may I hear from Francis Katumba? Katumba Francis, you have a good name, eh? But now you're disappointing me. You can't open the microphone. You remind me of Katumba. Katumba Oye. But now, Francis, you can't open the microphone. I'm getting disappointed. No microphone opened. I don't see any question. I don't see any hand up, and I'll try to check in the chat and see if there is no any other question. It means you're okay with these questions, so I can leave my exercise.
Yes, teacher.
I don't see anything in the chat that can take my attention. But if there is something in the chat and you feel I've not read, because I'm sharing my screen here, really I may not manage to read. But if there is anything you've written in the chat, you feel it's serious, but I have not talked about it, let me know by opening the microphone. Katumba, you can't open your microphone. Sorry, that is very bad. And I'll clean my annotation. I've cleaned it. I am going to display my questions here that you are supposed to try them when we go out of this lesson. Try them, let me know by posting the work in the Padlet. And the questions are here. You are supposed to solve this. Just take that screenshot. Take that screenshot and solve. Now they look a little bit abstract, but I have tried them myself and they are easy. So don't get scared. Are you still seeing them? Because I've switched the screen here. Take this.
Yes, teacher.
I'm going to put the Padlet link in the chat. Now this Padlet link in the chat is where you're supposed to take all these questions I'm leaving behind. Whether you only do one question, put it there. Whether you do two, whether you do three of them, put the questions there. You're going to find there last year's work that we did during the lockdown. All that work, we kept it very well. It is still there in the Padlet. So I'm going to post those links here in the chat. I want you to click on it, post your work there such that even if you come back here next term or next year, you get your work is still there. You can always tell the teacher that, why didn't you make mark my work, because the teacher will want to know, where did you put the work? You say, I put it in the Padlet. And these Padlet links have been updated, so they may not now confuse you. They now have your classes at the end. And this particular link I'm giving you is going to have Senior 3 homework somewhere. So take them kindly, seriously. And yeah, the link is in the chat there. It has Senior 3 somewhere. Now, those who are chatting, if you can maybe first hold on for people to copy that link. Or maybe alternatively, I'll be forced to close the chat at some point, which may not be good. I am not, the Padlet link is in the chat. And when you go there, you're going to get today's dates. You're going to get today's dates and it will read mathematics. It will be the first one. Just put the answers there and always make sure the work is marked. How do you make sure that the work is marked? By reminding the teacher either on WhatsApp or maybe by reminding the teacher in the next lesson, "Sir, you did not mark my work," and we'll always be very happy to mark your work because it gives us feedback and you also get feedback. Okay, someone who has seen the link to the Padlet, kindly copy it and post it again. I have given a number of work. So organize them, put it on a piece of paper, take a screenshot and post it in WhatsApp. Now, we are about to get to the second method, but because of time, I don't know whether you will manage to get into the second method, but the second method here is supposed to be substitution method. So we are left with about 15 minutes to end this lesson, actually 11. So I may not have enough time to talk about it, but let's refresh a little bit our minds. Then we see if we can start on substitution method. Like I told you, we have how many methods? They are here. We have about 4 methods. We've talked about elimination as one of them. Substitution is supposed to come second, graphical method, and then matrix method. But in most schools, matrix method has been shown to many students. I chose elimination to talk about it further. Now, I talk about this because we are going to concentrate so much in solving simultaneous equations, such that when you ever go back to school and you see any question on simultaneous equation, you say, at least we studied this at holistic, other than trying to check everything, then when you go back the other side, you can't really apply the knowledge because of the small time, and we've tried to look at a lot. So refresh your mind. I don't know what you're going to do to refresh your mind, and let's not write so much in the chat. Get a new page. If you're writing, and write substitution method, it is going to be the second method, and it is very, very good. It is easy for those who have not used it before. I personally like it, so I know you'll like it as well. And probably, may I know where you're logging in from, where you're calling in from? I'm going to start it myself. I'm calling in from Mbale. Just put that in the chat. Actually, Mbale City. And I need to know where some people are calling in from. Mbale City. I have put Mbale somewhere there. And we need to know where you are calling in from. That will be very important. And yes, we have someone, Smile Melarin from Lila City. I don't know if Lila is a city really. Kisolo, someone is from Kisolo. Ginger.
Yes, it is, teacher. Assured City.
Lila, I did not read about Lila as a city.
Touch about it.
Not Iganga City. Come on, Iganga is just here. Iganga. Then Kampala. Now, someone from Kampala, you should be proud. You write it in capital letters. Soroti City, Oyame, Mbali City. I see many people from Mbali City. Actually, Katali. Yeah, this is a lot. What is that? Okay. Idinda. Someone is in Idinda. I don't know Idinda now. Lila is not a city. Maybe if it's a city, then that is good. Yes, someone from Kampala, it's now coming up in capital letters. Iganga village, that is not. Soroti City West, yes, Paris, that is good. Soroti City, someone is calling in from India. Guru City, Kamuli. Okay, basically that is good. Mukono, yes, I've heard from someone from Mukono. Emily is from Bali City, Mafavi, Bali City, Soroti City. Now this Tabi, which city is this? Lila City, Bridget. Okay, I want us to talk about substitution method. Substitution method, let's now avoid the chat. And I'm going to briefly talk about it, but we may not solve anything. So when you're talking about substitution method, the first thing you do is to name. You're supposed to name your equations. The equations in the guiding question here, they are here. I'm going to put them again. The first thing when you're dealing with substitution method is to name. This is number 1, is the naming I'm talking about. This is number 2. Hope that is clear. The first thing you do when you're dealing with substitution method is name your equations. I have done that. Is that okay? Okay. So when you name your equations, I've just done that because that is very important. Name your equations. For those who are writing, put that down. When you're dealing with the substitution method, name your points, name your equations, give them names 1 and 2. So that is taken. If you not mastered that, then we are going to leave you. The second thing that you're supposed to do is, let me pick my slide again. The first thing is you're supposed to name the equations. It can be 1 and 2, or it can be Roman number 1 and Roman number 2. Someone should read for us the second step. The second step is what? By show of hand, you can read for us that. Yes. Assist from Lila. Was that Lila?
Soroti City West.
Soroti City West. You can read for us step number 2.
Choose the equation you want to work with first.
You must name the equations. Then the second step is you must choose the equation you want to work with first. It can be the first equation, it can be the second equation. Make sure you choose the equation you want to work with first. Don't just look at it and leave it for granted. I saw Emmanuel Mafavi putting up the hand, and maybe you're going to read for us the third equation. Mafavi, you can go on. Yes, Mafavi, may you go on?
Isolate first. Start by isolating the y value.
I beg your pardon?
You could also start by isolating the y variable.
You're supposed to start reading from isolate.
Isolate the x variable in the first equation. You could also start by isolating the y variable.
Yes, what this point means is that look for the x value and isolate it. And when we're talking about isolating it, in senior 2, you looked at making x the subject of the formula. It's what we are talking about. Make x the subject of the formula, and it is also saying you could also start by making y the subject of the formula. So you look at the 2 equations and choose one equation you want to work with first, then start by making x the subject of the formula, or you can make y the subject of the formula. Someone should read for us the last step, and it is here. Yes, Angel. Angel, was that Lila?
No, Ginger.
Ginger, yes.
Okay, plug in the value of x into the second equation.
Okay, maybe. Can Joy try to tell us what that means? Joy Duffin? Joy Duffin, your hand was up. I thought if you'd tell us what that means would be good enough.
I'm not sure.
Ah, you're not sure. At least you said something. Faith, what does that mean?
Okay, you replace where you see x, you replace with the values in the other equation.
Okay, so you have to first of all name your equations. 2, choose the equations you want to work with first. 3, isolate the value of x in the equation first. Then, after you have chosen that first equation, now when you isolate the value of x, you don't put it again in the first equation, but you put it in the second equation that you had not chosen to work with at first. And basically, those are the 3 steps you are supposed to take note of. For those who are making notes, have that screenshot with you. And I'm going to display very many examples here that you're supposed to use the method of substitution to solve, but because of time, we may not solve them. Just take that screenshot, and this work is going to be pushed to the next lesson using substitution method to solve simultaneous equations. But if you have that screenshot, the previous one, you can go ahead and try them out. You realize these questions I've put here are almost the same questions that were the other side, but we're just using another method to solve. That means the answers has to be the same. I'm not going to teach you.
Support the previous slide.
The previous slide is here.
Thanks.
So that is it. And yeah, you have that screenshot. Take this screenshot as well. Use substitution method to solve it. I don't want you to maybe get overtired, because if I start substitution method, it may need us to use another extra 30 minutes, and yet we have another class entering here. Maybe they have already entered. So take this, use substitution method to do it. I'll be very happy if I see this work in the next lesson. However, you're supposed to go away with this exercise. Kindly take that screenshot and share with your friends. The exercise is over there. It's only one question. Have that work done and the answers posted in the Padlet. The exercise is over there. You're supposed to use just elimination method to have that solved. The Padlet link is in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat again. And I want you to do that. The exercise is a bit hard.
Are we doing only part C?
You're doing part 1. You're doing only number 1 from part A to part C. So if there is any question, put it up. Or if there is no question, we are going to have our lesson ended here at exactly 4 p.m. What? Okay.
So your WhatsApp number.
My WhatsApp number is in all those classes. I'm going to repeat to write it here.
Yes.
And I'll be excited when you're writing to me a message. You start by introducing yourself and you tell me the school where you're studying from. I teach Mbale Secondary School and I teach mathematics and ICT. So if you have some questions in line with any of that, you can always maybe put them in my inbox. Before we get back to school, we may have maybe solved a number of problems. Then when you get back to school, you can always try to be number 1. Or if they defeat you, then you can be number 2 at least. Okay, we are going to stop it here and someone should give us a closing prayer. Agatha, is that Agatha or?
Sir, it's me.
Yes, go on.
I pray.
Yes, you can go on. Gloria, are you praying? Gloria, may you open your microphone again?
Almighty Father, we want to thank you for this meeting. As we are going to do this work, Almighty Father, I pray that we may do it as the teacher has told us. I've prayed this through Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming for the lesson. See you next time. Make sure you read the timetable well. Make sure you read the timetable well and know when the next lesson is supposed to.
Thank you, sir.